So what was lacking was that real strong commercial front edge in the human resources function. So it was difficult for line managers to know how to navigate their way around the HR team, and essentially all of the issues always floated up to the head of HR, who then parcelled them down the different functional routes within the team. Which made it quite frustrating for line managers to know who they should speak to and to have one single point of contact for all their issues. And so there was a clear mandate for me to really transform the nature of the HR structure and to introduce much more commercial HR business partners, which serve the need of the business but also serve the need of the people within HR themselves. So to basically move HR away from being a more reactive functional specialist unit to be a more commercially proactive consulting function within the business, to be part of the decision-making process about the future of the business, and to go beyond the traditional confines of HR, much more into having an opinion, having an input about a whole range of commercial issues about the future strategy of the business, how things should work commercially. Challenges of the perceptions of the people, both the perceptions of themselves and by the HR and by the line managers. The traditional role of HR within organisations, and the fact that HR hadn't really operated that way previously, so it was about re-educating the way in which HR is perceived in the organisation, the skill sets of the individuals, the experience of the individuals, the culture of the organisation. So there were a number of ingredients that needed to change in order to be successful in terms of helping the business to manage its transformation. I think that for HR transformation to be successful, you have to be really part of the fabric of decision making within the business, and that means that you have to extend your influence beyond the traditional HR boundaries. And you have to be willing to have a voice at the table and to step outside of the traditional HR role. You have to stand up and be counted. You have to take some brave decisions about people and about structures. And you need to develop a really good working relationship with your colleagues and boss. Occasionally you have to break some organisational taboos around the roles of business units versus group centres and that kind of thing. You learn to adapt your HR stance as an HR director in accordance with the organisational context that you're in. What you can't do is have a one-size-fits-all. It doesn't work. The traditional route into HR has been for people who are very people-orientated and want to do good things and to help people. And at one level that's fine, but I think with the future of HR needs to become much more hard-edged. It's about helping organisations to thrive, and it's about really understanding what makes people tick, but making judgments about people and facilitating their development within a commercial context. And I think HR needs to take its direction primarily from the business and the business strategy and the business priorities, and try to marry up the agenda and needs of the people within that context rather than the other way around. I see HR as becoming much more of a consulting function internally. I see it much more as a value add. I see the transactional side of HR rapidly disappearing through automation, through outsourcing, through offshoring, through the creation of shared services. The more operational side of HR is becoming much more easy to control. The piece that's the challenge for HR is moving up the value chain and becoming more of a high-level consulting function, a more broad commercial function, and the ability of the HR director to act as part of a collegiate executive, whatever level of executive exists, rather than purely have input on pure people issues. So basically you win your ticket to the table through your discipline, HR in this case, but you retain your seat at the table through your extended commercial influence. I think there are many. I think one of them is definitely being driven too much by an HR purist agenda. So sometimes the thinking of HR directors is you go for HR best practice because it's the right thing to do. And I've seen HR transformation agendas being built around that false premise, which is around, let's start with an idea of how HR can operate and then let's build towards that ideal, if you like. It's completely the wrong way of thinking. you need to build a transformation plan in HR around the business transformation and be very clear about the goals, objectives and ambition of the business and how the people aspects fit into that vision, and build your HR vision around that. One of the challenges I'd give to the group would be, how do we really get the best people coming in at the bottom of the career ladder into HR? You know, how do we attract the best young talent into the function? I see many people coming into HR, again, for the wrong reasons. It's about wanting to be nice and people orientated. It's not really about that. It's about really wanting to contribute to leading a business, but leading it in a way which maximises your interest in people, and seeing HR as a sustainable career. I've been in HR for over 25 years, but I've been fortunate to move companies a lot. But one thing I haven't done is worked really outside of the HR function. So what I'd also encourage HR people to do is to think about broadening the types of experience and jobs that they can do in organisations. I think for me it's about getting young talent into the HR function, but thinking creatively about careers in the commercial arena, not just pure careers in HR, because I think that the diversity and breadth of experience really adds value to HR directors.